Greetings ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another World of Warcraft Classic video. My name is Cargos, and today we are going to showcase some of the most inspired and flavorful trinkets to ever make it in-game. Vanilla WoW is home to some seriously awesome gadgets and gizmos, so narrowing it down to this list was a bit tough, but the criteria I wanted to focus on is flavor. Some of you might be wondering, what do I mean by flavor? Well, flavor doesn't pertain to how rare or how ridiculously strong an item is, but rather its charm and how charismatic it is given what it's called and what it does. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the first item I want to talk about is the Gnomish Universal Remote. This one cracked me up because if you're like a 90s baby like me, you might remember the days where you would lose the TV remote and you'd have to go run out the Radio Shack, which doesn't exist anymore, and get one of those like third-party universal remotes and look through the little pamphlet and find the code for your TV and program it. It's kind of a really flavorful title for the item, but basically it allows you to mind control almost any mechanical NPC in the game. You can use it even on bosses like in the Dead Mines. So it's a BOE trinket. It requires engineering, 125 skill points to use it. And it works just like a priest MC. So you use it and then you actually get a pet bar with you can use all the skills of whatever you're mind controlling. And it's really a lot of fun. But the thing is, similar to a lot of these other wacky engineering items, there is a substantial chance of failure. So if you fail to MC it, you'll get this effect called target lock, which generates 5,000 threat, and you might have a bad time. The next item doesn't really do anything flashy. It doesn't have some on-use effect that's really cool or anything. It's just a simple passive, but it's one of my all-time favorite items of all to have ever existed in WoW, and it's Carrot on a Stick. Had to shout out Carrot on a Stick. You get this item after completing a quest called Gazrilla. You have to go into Zul'Farrak, kill Gazrilla, get his scale, bring it to some dude in Shimmering Flats, and then you get this trinket. And it increases your mounted movement speed by a whopping 3%. I don't know, it's just something about that simple metaphor of dangling a carrot on a stick in front of your mouth to motivate it to go faster just tickles my fancy. This next item is a BOE blue, and it's sold on the auction house like crazy. Back in the day, it was a real head turner. It's not like today in retail where there's a million ways to recombobulate your character to look like X, Y, or Z. This was a head turner. This was a flashy trinket, and the description says transforms the caster to look like a member of the opposing faction. So you already know what I'm talking about probably now. Orb of Deception. Orb of Deception was really cool. It turns gnomes into taurens. That right there is already a win. It turns humans into orcs. It turns night elves into undead, and vice versa, of course. It turns dwarves into trolls, and yeah, it's pretty sweet. It lasts for 5 minutes, the buff, and the cooldown is 30 minutes. So this is a classic. The next trinket up is Grimboo's Thunder Brews Boot Flask. This is a green BOP trinket that you get from a quest in Westfall called Sweet Amber, which tasks you to bring Grimboo's Thunder Brew a bundle of charred oak. The trinket is basically a super strong flask of booze, and then when you drink it, the fumes, I guess the flavor is that the fumes are so strong that, it just ignites everything around you, and it deals 50 fire damage a second AoE to all enemies in front of you for 5 seconds. So naturally, because you're drinking booze, you get hammered when you use this item and you get all crazy. Your screen starts shaking and movement starts getting impaired. But it's actually kind of a handy trinket for classes that don't have AoE capabilities, like maybe a Shadow Priest, since there's several mobs that spawn those little guys that come out and do mega damage and you need to deal with them, so. Alright, this next item up is called the Arena Grand Master Trinket. This is definitely, hands down, one of the most sought after prestigious trinkets in all of vanilla. The process is what I find really flavorful, not necessarily the on-use ability or anything, but in order to get this, you had to win the Guru Bashi PvP chest event 12 times, and you would turn these little tokens in and you'd get this thing. And especially on like level 19 twings, this absorb was the nuts. It was so crazy. Yeah, you know, and imagine winning this on a Twink. First of all, it's such a challenge, but if you saw a Twink with this in the BG, you knew they put in that serious work. This next one is kind of interesting. It's a warlock trinket. It is called the Black Book. And what it does is it empowers your pet, increasing pet damage by 100% and increasing pet armor by 100% for 30 seconds. This spell will only affect an imp, succubus, voidwalker, or fell hunter. It's got a 5-minute cooldown, and it's got that 30-second duration. So as you can see already, it's pretty interesting. It puts this kind of fear effect above your pet and gives it this bloodlusty effect as well. So it's like your pet is going into bestial wrath, kind of. It drops at 17% from Razorgore, the Untamed, and Blackwing Lair. I think it's interesting. It's called the Black Book. It's almost like you're a warlock. You have this little secret book in your pocket. You start reading some demonic sayings, and your pet starts just going nutter butters. So I think that the kind of it's pretty flavorful in that sense. All right, this next one is off of Cthulhu from the Temple of Encourage. It drops at 15%, and is very flavorful. It's called the Vanquished Tentacle of Cthulhu. So shout out to everybody that likes tentacles. This is the trinket for you. I just really find it so cool that this tentacle comes, you know, digging its way up from under the ground, like this tentacle of an old god. It's like kind of like you have Cthulhu on your side, and you're like, hey, Cthulhu, what's up, man? I need a little, every 3 minutes, Cthulhu, I need a little assistance. And he just uses his old god powers and burrows up through the earth and hits you with the tentacle. That's pretty cool. And it seems like it does pretty good damage, too. Okay, this one is like the perfect trinket for all the trolls, especially in vanilla when it wasn't nerfed. In retail, this has been nerfed quite a bit, but this trinket is called the Piccolo of Flaming Fire. So this has a 1-minute cooldown, and basically what it does is it forces other players to dance. They could be using the mailbox, they could be sitting down, they could be doing a bunch of things, and you can kind of just... you can forcibly troll them and make them dance. It puts this little buff on you, and it just keeps going, so anyone around you will start dancing, which is pretty interesting. Blizzard later nerfed this a bunch of times, but the trinket requires level 53. It is a 20% drop from Hearthsinger Forestin in Strathhome. And there is some weird stuff back in vanilla too, like you can mess with bots with this thing. It built a bit of a reputation, but it's been nerfed to oblivion, so it's pretty much only people in your party now, I think, in retail, and it's not what it once was. Alright, this next one is, I have to confess, it's probably my favorite one on the list. It is so cool. The Hook of the Master Angler. I'm gonna blow some minds with this one. A lot of people still don't realize this exists in vanilla. In order to get this, you gotta win the Stranglethorn Vale Fishing Extravaganza. We're here in STV at this pseudo high jump, you know, diving board thing. And I'll just let you see what happens when you hit the water. Never gets old. You turn into a fish. You get additional 35% swim speed. It's so cool, man. You're a friggin' piranha. What's not to like about this? You basically get your own little aquatic form, 5-second cooldown, very practical, very fun, very flavorful. Really enjoy this trinket. So to get this trinket, you need to win the Stranglethorn Vale Fishing Extravaganza. It's held every Sunday between 2 and 4 p.m. server time. The first player to catch and hand in 40 speckled tasty fish to wriggle bass bait in Booty Bay wins and can choose this or another item. But tasty fish are found all around the area, and it gets pretty competitive, but it's worth it, man, because you get your own little personal aquatic form. And now we are on to the final trinket on the list. None other than the Barov Peasant Collar. This is one of the most fun trinkets in vanilla. It's good in PvP. It's only got a 10-minute cooldown. You get this through a quest. The quest tasks you to kill Alexei Barov. The quest is called House of Barov. No, the last bear off quest, yeah. So you kill him, and then this trinket summons 3 servants of the House of Barov that will fight, cook, and clean for you. And one of the craziest things is if there isn't anything to attack, before they go away and despawn, they'll ask you if you want tea and stuff like that. So it's just a really flavorful trinket that, you know, just imagine the work that went into this. They had to come up with these little sayings for these little pets, and it's cool. If you're Horde, you get these Horde guys. They all wear on brown outfits, and if you're Alliance, you get these Alliance servants as well. So there's a lot of time and energy that went into this thing, and it's just a very cool, flavorful trinket. And with that, we are done, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed making it. Please hang out in the Discord. Come say hi. I'd love to meet you guys. Also, if you have any good content ideas, please drop that in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this, please consider subscribing. And if you do want to support the channel in any additional capacity, I do have the Patreon link on the YouTube, on my YouTube channel as well. But definitely no need there. But yeah, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.